So another week has passed us by, and another episode of My Little Pony has passed us by. This episode was The Cart Before the Ponies, and it really impressed me as an episode. The episode was written by Ed Valentine, who wrote the episodes Flight to the Finish, Three's a Crowd, which was the Discord episode that most people don't seem to have a fondness for, but I personally do, and this episode. So he hasn't really had too many writing credits in the show, but he's actually a pretty decent writer who wrote some of my favorite episodes, so that's saying something. He also previously wrote for The Fairly Odd Parents, Doc McStuffins, Sesame Street, and The Ultimate Spider-Man, so take of that what you will. And for those of you who don't actually know this, the title of the episode is actually a reference to the idiom, putting the cart before the horse. I just thought that was an interesting factoid to mention in the review. So this episode starts off with Miss Cheerily telling the class that they are going to be basically getting prepared for the Applewood Derpy, in which the school foals build and race their own carts on a racetrack with an older pony assisting and riding with them. Shirley then goes on to explain that 3 ribbons will be awarded based on 3 categories: the fastest cart, the most traditional cart, and the cart with the most creative design. After, when school dismissed, Sweetie Belle wants to win the first place for traditional cart, Apple Bloom wants to win the fastest cart, and Scootaloo wants to win the most creative cart. Obviously, this is not what they should be doing, and it goes pretty haywire from there. So basically, when Scootaloo goes over to Rainbow Dash's Cloudonium, Rainbow Dash agrees to help Scootaloo build her cart, having fond memories of winning the Derby as a filly in Cloudsdale. However, she puts some of her own ideas to work instead of working with Scootaloo's ideas, which is what should really be happening. Similarly, Applejack favors a traditional cart over what Apple Bloom wants of a modern and fast cart, and it's the same with Rarity. She takes charge of Sweetie Belle's cart and goes for the most creative, whereas Sweetie Belle wants the most traditional. So now it's time for the Applewood Derby, and Applejack, Rarity, and Rainbow basically take over as drivers of the carts and leave the Crusaders feel even more neglected than they had done at the start, which is pretty stupid of Applejack, Rarity, and Rainbow Dash. Like, this episode, in my opinion, made them appear to be assholes, and I did not like that, okay? I didn't like their attitudes in this episode. I didn't really like their characters in this episode. Rarity was cool as always, but I really just didn't like the characters in this episode. I don't know what it was, but the way they were acting just made me really dislike their characters in this episode. So basically, we get an awesome song, which is really cool actually, and I'm really looking forward to doing like a cover for this, but it was a really catchy song. And it all comes together, they crash, and then they learn, oh wait, we were supposed to do this your way, we didn't do this your way, so let's do it your way while we rest on and have drinks, you know? So the CMC get their race, and everything's happy dandy, you know, everything's fine. Applejack, Rarity, and Rainbow Dash are perfectly normal, and the CMC are just happy, everything's fine, and the episode ends. So this episode was a lot of fun, and while I wasn't such a huge fan of Rarity, Applejack, and Rainbow Dash's characters in this episode, I was a fan of the CMC characters and how they handled this actually quite well and ended up speaking out in the end, which I really enjoyed. I noticed bulk biceps in the episode, and I also noticed Derpy in the Derby along with a foal, and I am wondering who this foal is, right, and why he would pick Derpy. It was a male, and I did make sure to check that, but I am wondering who this character is, because is it related to Derpy or isn't it? Because that would be freaking awesome if it was actually related to Derpy, and that would be something huge in the fandom, trust me. But I'm really interested to find out who this is. If any of you guys actually know who it is, please comment below who it is. I have no idea if this is an existing character or if this is just a new character made for this episode. I have no idea. It'd be cool though if Derpy had like a son or a brother. I don't know, but that'd be really cool actually. But overall, this was just a very fun episode and I really enjoyed it. Overall, I'd give this episode a B. It wasn't exactly a perfect episode, but I really enjoyed it, and it was definitely up there with some of my favorite episodes. The writer has written some good episodes in the past, at least in my opinion anyway. Three's a Crowd wasn't exactly great with some people, so I don't know how you'd see this episode, but I really enjoyed this episode. And yeah, that was it for my review for The Cart Before the Ponies. Next week is going to be 28 Pranks Later, which is the Rainbow Dash episode focusing on the Zomponies, which is going to be freaking awesome. So look forward to my review for that, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.